Woo! It is going to be a good night. Welcome in, everyone. Thank you guys so much for being here. Record number of viewers in the chat, and so we just want to take a moment to thank you guys. We really appreciate everyone being here and supporting not only our band show, but John Newhall Band. And if you are here, a little like will go a long way, and hopefully some new folks will discover the incredible music that is about to come your way the rest of this evening. And before we dive in, for those of you who are new, our band show is a web-based music show. Once a month we go live with amazing bands from right here in our local area and beyond. And tonight we have another incredible band for you, John Newhall. So if you're into that kind of thing, supporting local music, this is the place for you. Not only do we do live streams, but we edit each song and each interview into an individual clip throughout the week. So there's constant music here on our band show. And before we get back to the music, I want to welcome our John Newhall to the our band show experience tonight. Welcome in, guys. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having us. Yeah, this is lovely. It's so fun.
Your music is lovely. It is just, I mean, when I listen to you guys perform, you cover so many different styles and so many different sounds, and it all kind of comes together for just this unique, beautiful experience that is both rock and roll and elegant all at once. So before we dive in and unpack the sound, there's so many questions we want to ask you guys, like who your influences are and what brought you guys together. But let's just start from the beginning. You know, how did you guys all get inspired to first pick up your instruments, and how did you guys all meet? John, I feel like it's appropriate to start with you.
Sure. Yeah, sure. So yeah, I guess ever since I was a kid, I was always like, I guess, attracted to music. And I remember I got my first guitar for Christmas. Thank you, Santa Claus. Yeah, ever since then, I kind of would be in my room every day, just kind of sitting there and strumming along with ultimate guitar tabs, you know. And I kind of, maybe it's an attention thing. I'm willing to admit that, you know. But yeah, I've always kind of felt this drawing to be an artist. So pretty recently, at this point last year, I kind of really got serious. I said, okay, I'm going to do the TikTok. I'm going to do the releases. I'm going to do all the reels and things, and really get get serious about trying to make this happen. And it was solo for a while. I was very solo until I got a show booked at Bethel Woods. So Bethel Woods is cool. If you don't know where it is, it's like a major concert venue. And we were going to almost open, like be like an opening almost kind of thing for John Fogerty. And when I got off the phone with the guy, it was just me at that point, and he said, hey, by the way, you need a band. You have a band, right? And I kind of lied. I didn't know these guys really yet. And I said, of course I do, of course. So then phone calls kind of started going out immediately, and that's the first one I made was actually Mr. Joseph O'Brien on the drum kit over there, who we used to play in a band in high school together. And we hadn't talked actually in, was it like 4-ish years maybe?
Probably because college, 4
Yeah.
years.
College kind of took us our separate ways. And then I got Marco, who I played with in high school as well, but in a completely different band, who we stayed in touch. But I mean, we were, I see him more than I see my sister now. Hello, Bella. I know you're watching. But yeah, and then the one mystery in the whole thing was the lead guitar. Who's going to do it? I kind of assumed I would. We just had to find a rhythm guitarist, and then we met Sean Rogers, who is crazy. So, but yeah. What about you guys?
I guess kind of the same. Like, I was raised, I remember my first guitar I ever got, I think it was my aunt. She got me this acoustic guitar, and I had no idea how to use it. And I just thought it was the coolest thing in the world. I was like, what is this thing? It just makes a bunch of sounds when you hit it. It's so cool. I'm just going to keep strumming. It probably annoyed my family so much that night. But over time, the more I hang out with my father, especially, he'd show me bands like the Allman Brothers. One Way Out, I used to think was a heavy metal song. Or then I got put on to Iron Maiden, like the Trooper. So I definitely, over time, just learning more music and stuff, I just got attracted to it more and more, and just we'll go into inspirations later. But he totally opened my world to just whatever was put in front of me, and I just thought everything was amazing. And with this band, I met Joe in college through my friend Pat. Pat, if you're watching, what's up? And we jammed one time in his basement We were playing a bunch of Motley Crue songs. And after that, we didn't speak for a while. You know, he graduated. I was doing my own thing. And I was like, man, like, where did Joe go? And then out of the blue, my senior year, he texted me. He's like, hey, I'm starting a band with my friend John, and we're wondering if you want to play. And I was like, all right, let's do a rehearsal and see if I fit in well. And here we are.
Awesome. Now, before we jump to Joe and Marco, I do want to know, John and Sean, how old were you guys when you first picked up the instruments that you're playing now?
Yeah, like 7. I'd say.
I started a lot later. I was, I think I was about, 8th grade, so 13 maybe. But
Awesome.
I was singing forever. I came out of the womb, I feel, with a tune.
Yeah, singing was not huge for me until recently, kind of.
And my notes say you're all 23 years old.
I'm 22, so close.
22, so close, but so far.
Yeah, so far.
Fair enough.
I think
All right.
Marco's older too. He's a little
25 actually.
25.
So old. Oh my God.
Don't even mention it. Yeah.
So Marco, tell me about how you joined the band. But first, when did you first pick up music? And then what was that phone call like from John when he said, hey, I don't know if you're busy or not. If you're busy, it's okay. No big deal. I'm opening up for John Fogerty of Creedence Clearwater Revival. But if you're busy, it's okay. I understand. Like, what was that like?
So the phone call, I would say, like, you know, I was really happy to hear from John, because, you know, I've, you know, growing up, you know, in high school with him, it's always been a treat to play with him and collaborate. You know, I was really excited because, you know, I love his music, and, you know, I always enjoy his presence, you know.
Awesome. And how old were you when you first got into jamming yourself?
So I got my first bass at 12, but I want to say I started with music a little longer before that. I want to say when I was 9 years old, I started percussion in school band. And then I kind of want to say I ditched percussion. I kept it up for a while until I was like 14, and I just focused solely on bass. And I wanted to get, you know, to a place where I was really comfortable with the instrument and I was able to get gigs with it.
Incredible. And I think it's safe to say you achieved that goal. Now, I want to jump to the man with the neon sticks, the absolute crusher you guys have, the backbone of the band. Joe, how are you doing tonight? When did you pick up those sticks, and what was it like in the early days of joining John Newhall Band?
I'm doing great, Chris. Thank you for having us again. So yeah, I think my mother and my father would tell you that I was a very restless child, and I couldn't sit still. And I think that's why they bought me a drum kit, to kind of keep myself busy. And then it kind of just started. I mean, I couldn't have been more than like me. I think I took my first drum lesson at 4 or 5 years old, which I don't know who gives drum lessons to a 4-year-old, but shout out to Eric Wagner. He took me in. I appreciate it as a 4-year-old. So yeah, it kind of just grew from there. Started as 4 or 5, kept taking lessons throughout high school band. I played marching band in college, and then, you know, just kept doing my own thing. Played with John in high school.
Were you snare drum?
I was snare drum.
Yeah, you gave me the snare. Yeah, definitely. Who would take that place if not you?
I was snare drum. So yeah. Yeah, and to stem from what Sean was saying, yeah, we met through a mutual friend because we both liked Motley Crue. So Sean's friend Pat, shout out to Pat, we love you.
Pat.
Was also in the drum line with me in college. So he was like, "Oh, you should meet my friend Sean. He loves Motley Crue. You guys should play together." I was like, "Oh, sick." So we jammed, you know, once or twice. I graduated, we kind of went our separate ways, and then John hit me up in May of last year. We played a couple acoustic shows. Things started to come together. I was like, dude, we gotta, like, this is something, we gotta build off of it. And my first thought was Sean, just because I remember how much he shredded. And here we are.
So you guys all met in high school, had some shared musical experiences, albeit not all in the same ensemble, but had known each other since high school, went your separate ways throughout college.
Yeah.
And because John got an awesome gig opening up for a little-known artist named John Fogerty of the legendary and mighty Creedence Clearwater Revival, you guys all came back together. Is that the Spark Notes version?
So yes,
Kind of.
yes for John, me, and Marco. I met Sean in college.
Yeah.
Oh, very cool.
It's-
Okay, the plot thickens.
And then I kind of recruited him. Yeah.
It was crazy because I'm as you could probably see, like, probably the best bassist I know, probably the best drummer I know, and I felt like I kind of held my own too. So it was just kind of the three of us in my head, really looking for a guitarist to hold their own space. And Joe kind of goes, I kind of know this one guy who was pretty good. And I was like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. And then he came to rehearsal and kind of blew us out of the water. So since then, we leashed onto him. Like, he's ours. He's going to be in the band, I think. So, but yeah, we're super happy to have Sean.
I'm very glad he's in the band as well, because you guys are such a pleasure to listen to. Now, we have so many more topics to discuss. We want to know how the band started as one member, John, and has morphed into this great ensemble. And I know we just heard the origin story, but I mean the musicality, the creativity behind the process. And we also want to know about their influences. And of course, we're going to introduce my co-producer, Patrick, a little later on. So don't go anywhere. If you like what you're hearing, please stick around, like this video, subscribe to our show. Not only would it help us, it would help get eyeballs on John Newhall Band, as well as all of our past performers. And that is our main mission, just to be the conduit to showcase this amazing music we have in our music-rich Hudson Valley with all of you. So thank you guys so much for being here. And last but not least, if you, and I'm talking to you, and I know it's rude to point, but they say this is good media broadcasting, have a question for the band, please drop it in the chat, and we'll be sure to read it in our third and final interview later on in the broadcast. For now, we've talked way too much because there are so many good songs yet to be heard. So, John and company, would you guys do us the honor of taking us into the first cover and second set of this evening, a little song called Southbound by the Allman Brothers Band? Would that be all right with you guys?
Oh, yeah.
For sure.
Take it away, guys.